a religion. And so when I said that somebody, shut the fuck up for a second, dude. Jesus Christ. When I said to you that somebody who's acting in the name of Islam could be an Islamist, and you thought that was such like a brain teaser thing to say, and you laughed. I don't know why. They literally could be. They don't necessarily have to be. I don't understand why you were confused at that.
If you subscribe to a religion, are you not fundamentally aligned with that religion?
That doesn't make
That's
you a
not what he said.
Huh?
That doesn't. You don't know what a fundamentalist is? A fundamentalist Muslim? You don't know what that means versus somebody who's just subscribing to Islam?
They are exactly the same.
They're not.
I'm so confused. What?
I can tell.
You are obviously
just
confused.
Google Islamists and just get back to me.
This weird dive into semantics is whatever.
It's not a dive into semantics. You tried to quote me by saying Muslims, and I said I never said that.
You're obfuscating by getting into semantics.
No, I'm telling you that you quoted me wrong because I never said anything about specifically Muslims. I said Islamists. Of course it matters. Because if I was talking about Muslims, that changes my entire argument. It
how do you quantify?
matters.
Hold on. How do you quantify a fundamentalist versus someone who's just a Muslim and adheres to the religion?
Violence.
Oh, so you just mean a violent Muslim?
No, a violent Muslim who commits acts in the name of Islam.
Wait, but hold on. Couldn't anyone commit acts in the name of a religion?
No, you don't see Jews going out and saying, we're doing this for Hashem. We're doing this for Hashem. It's different. There's a difference between defending your nation state and committing a crime in the name of your God or committing an act of violence. Do you not recognize that?
I think to move forward, can you
just quickly? But quickly, you don't think that the Jews? I won't use the T word, but the unruly settlers that have been that Israel supposedly is taking care of, or at least is detained / arrested.
You're talking about a tiny. You're talking about a tiny.
Yeah, about the same tiny percentage of radical Islamists, correct?
It's not actually, but that being said, I'm just.
They just shut down Christmas markets in Europe. All over Europe, they shut down Christmas markets that they've been having for centuries. What people
would you not
were threatening those Christmas markets that they had to shut it down?
I'm sorry, just real quick, before we move too far away, I think the way to move forward, can you tell me what you think fundamentalist means to see if you understand?
Yeah, someone who adheres to the principles strictly of some religion. Principles equal fundamentals.
Including literal interpretations of sacred texts. You forgot that part. Right? Do you think
which would be adhering
adheres to that?
Which would be adhering to the principles of the religion, correct?
Not everyone takes it literally.
That's not true at all. And see, this is why you're mistaken in what I said. You think that taking a literal you're saying that taking a literal interpretation. Do you believe all Muslims do that?
Could you take a literal do you just mean someone who takes a literal interpretation of their text, of their Bible?
What?
Bible's just a library of text. So someone who takes the literal definition, is this what you mean by fundamentalist? Someone who takes a literal interpretation of their Bible.
Well, no, it's more than just that. It's also having a strict adherence, but yes, to a literal interpretation to the scriptures. And so you're saying that isn't that just you said earlier, isn't that just a Muslim? And I'm telling you, no, not all Muslims do that.
So
I don't understand what you're confused about.
Wouldn't Orthodox Christians take a literal interpretation of the text?
Some would. Wait, when you say Orthodox, do you mean? Wait, when you say Orthodox, do you mean? Hold on. When you say Orthodox, are you talking about Greek Orthodox, Eastern Orthodox, or you mean Orthodox?
Yeah. Whatever
sect would, and yes, they could be a fundamentalist. That's true. I don't. Do you think I'm trying to say that Christians can't be fundamentalists? I don't.
It doesn't necessitate violence.
Christians also don't demand that you do violence on Jesus' name.
It doesn't necessitate violence, then.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't have to, but in Islam it does. Because, for example, in Islam it says to strike the necks of the unbelievers in every finger until they submit and pay the jizya. So if you take that as that means da 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 da, and you're not a fundamentalist. If you're a fundamentalist, you're going to take that literally. And so for Islam, Islam, that will be violence. For Christianity, the literal interpretation of what? Turn the other cheek?
Got it.
Well, what exactly did Jesus say? No, I need you to answer this question because you're not getting it. I find it hilarious.
No, I get that. Turn the other cheek. Totally understand.
So I'm just trying to nail down your definition. But you said so that doesn't mean violence, and you're wrong with the context of what we were talking about.
That's fine. Totally. Yes.
Okay.
That's fine.
Just 1 second. So with Islam, it 100% does. And so when you said that about me, you're wrong. And I need you to clearly understand that because we can't really move forward. Okay,
I understand.
Great. Now we can move forward.
Got it. So based on that logic, that definition of fundamentalist, so it's literal interpretation and violence, you would agree that there's
Islam.
a great Islam can only be there's no other religion that can be
within
fundamentalist?
Islam it means and violence. Doesn't have to necessarily be violence for other religions.
Well, but then your definition would have to include that, what you just said. Fundamentalism.
My definition was correct.
Okay, so it's just literal interpretation plus violence.
No.
Violent actions.
For Islam?
Oh my God, just
literal
the word
interpretation
fundamentalism.
by itself. No, it doesn't
just the
have to
word
mean,
fundamentalism.
It doesn't necessarily have to mean violence.
Okay, so it doesn't.
No, it doesn't necessarily mean violence because in Christianity and Judaism, there's no call to commit violence against non-Christians and non-Jews. There's nothing in the scripture that you can find. In Islam, the scripture is filled with calls to violence against Jews, Christians, non-believers, polytheists, and pagans, etc. So a fundamentalist Christian would not be violent because there's nothing in Christianity that is inherently violent. In Islam, it is entirely violent.
I also want to point out that fundamentalism also includes dogmas and ideology specifically. I didn't really get to that part of the definition yet, but I just want to throw that out there.
So there's no violence in Christianity and Judaism. There is in Islam. A specific order, a command to commit violence against people outside of their faith system.
Yeah, no, I hear you. So we would agree then that and I guess since you only use this like idiosyncratic definition of fundamentalism, we'll just say radicalism, you would agree that there's a higher percentage of Jewish radical people rather than Muslim.
But there's nothing, what's radical about them?
Right, I wouldn't say
going into settlements in the West Bank and killing people.
But that has nothing to do with Judaism.
Well, no, let's ask that. How many people
has nothing to do with Judaism.
Let me ask that.
Yeah.
How many people, first off, he's right. It has literally nothing to do with Judaism. But nonetheless, how many people do you think go into other settlers' houses and kill them?
Your claim is that has
nothing to do with... Can you answer that question? Can you tell me how many people? I'm literally allowing you to go through this, even though Hammer's right. It doesn't have anything to do with Judaism. But I'll play the ball. How many people go into other people's houses and kill them?
But that's vital to my point that it does have something to do with Judaism.
I'm going to ask you one more time. How many people...
can see that and I'll answer your question.
No, I don't think it has to do with Judaism. Nothing in Judaism says to do that. But nonetheless, you still need to answer the question. How many people...
But you're not engaging with my argument, though.
Great. How many people do you think go into other people's houses and kill them in the settlements?
It doesn't have to be just killing. It can be assaulting. And in the past 20 years...
Sure.
In the past 20 years...
people... I find it interesting you're moving the goalpost, but fine. If you want to move it, you can. How many people...
I said that initially. I said
beat up. You didn't actually. You said kill.
Yes, I did. I said kill and beat up. I said beat up.
Okay, great. How many people... Okay, great. How many people go and beat up or worse, kill?
In the past 20 years, above 1,000 people.
Okay.
More than 1,000 people.
I mean, I don't think that's true at all. In fact, if you look at B'Tselem's reports... about if you go to civilian, not just like IDF/Hamas/PA security, if you're just talking about civilians to civilians like the settlers are, if you look at it, Palestinians are 9 times the rate killing, and this is according to B'Tselem, which is very anti-Israel, right? I don't think anyone's going to argue that. It's about 9 times the rate that Palestinian civilians kill Israeli civilians than vice versa. But
that's justified.
How is it justified to kill a civilian?
Because Israel Jews invaded their land.
So wait, you're saying it's wait, hold on, stop. You're saying it's justified to kill a random civilian because somebody else...
not random.
That's what I just argued. I just said according to B'Tselem that I was talking about civilian to civilian. I wasn't talking about security. I wasn't talking about IDF. I wasn't talking about fights. I was talking about civilians going to kill other civilians, not them killing people that are quote unquote invading the land, which I can have that argument with you, but I don't want to change the topic.
You're not giving context.
I'm talking about, great, tell me the context. Because what I'm talking about is them going to, well, first off, neither did you, but nonetheless.
Yes, I did. I said going into zones of the West Bank.
Yeah, you said thousands.
Where there? Yes, over the past 20 years, yes, at least 1,000.
That's not
correct?
true. But
You don't think at least? We just saw a video posted by CNN today or yesterday of at least 15.
Context, great.
Of at least 15.
Great. The context of what has happened in with the B'Tselem report. It's actually a database. The B'Tselem database is talking about just civilians killing other civilians. It is not talking about them killing somebody invading their land. It's not talking about them attacking the IDF, which, by the way, you're actually wrong. You're not allowed to even do that, even according to, I assume you're referencing maybe international law. I don't know. When you say justified, it brings up justice, so I'm assuming you're talking about legality here, yes?
No, it's a normative position for sure.
So you're not talking about legality when you talk about justice?
It's not a descriptive position, no.
So what are you talking about? Who decides it's justified or not?
Well, obviously, based on my own morality, based on history.
Well, I don't give a shit about yours. I don't give a shit about mine in this argument. That's not if your whole argument is just like what you just think. Well, then fine. Then what I think is the opposite of what you think. I win. Like,
so you just ridiculous. Wait. So your claim is you adhere to international law? Is that your claim?
No, not at all. I'm saying when you bring up the word justice. Well, no. It's not about that or not. I mean, I would find if two parties are going to get into an engagement with the. Why do you keep interrupting me?
Okay, sorry, I did not mean it.
You keep saying sorry, you just like kind of keep doing it. Anyways, so back to what I was saying, like I would say that if two entities are going to get into a conflict with each other, right, then I would like to see both sides follow international law. If one decides to find it as a joke, then I find it to be less important from the other side, especially if I'm on that side. That being said, I would like to see that, but the reason I said no isn't because I wouldn't like to see that. I would. I'm just saying no because that wasn't my argument, and you're trying to force that in because you're not making a good point right now. What I'm saying is with justified, right? Actually, this is kind of a non sequitur to actually pull away from what I was originally saying. What I'm originally asking you, right, is the B'Tselem report. Even if you want to divide it by 3 and just say it's 3 times. Like, let's pretend we went through all of them. Obviously, it would take days, but let's just pretend we went through all of them and we found even 66.6% of them were justified, according to you. I don't think it'd be that high, but let's go with, let's throw you a bone and give you the majority. Let's say it's 66.6%. It would still be 3 times higher. Most of them would be Muslims. There's not many Arab Christians in the Palestinian territories, and even when they're not the ones generally doing the attacks. So that alone would show that percentage-wise even, or they would actually have a higher. Now, that doesn't even include the Muslims all around the world that actually do these attacks. You're talking about the settlers having a higher percentage, because Jews are such a low population that somehow it would bring up the higher percentage.
Can I clarify real quick? I was pointing out that if you just count the settlers' actions that are illegal according to Israel itself, then you have a significantly higher percentages of radical Jews, just if you only count them, which you can obviously loop in many other Jews to that as well. But you have a significantly, can I finish? And then you can go. You have a significantly higher percentage of radical Jews than Muslims. You got like what not even 0.01% of Muslims are radical. Where 1,000 Jews, that would be above point. I mean, that would be, I can't do the math on that, but we know if 15,000 were radical, if it was 15,000 settlers, because I was being generous with the 1,000 number.
No, the 1,000 was actually probably far off, to be honest.
We just saw a video of 15 just in one attack the other day.
Wait, just to let you know, Father.
15 what?
But 15 radical settlers beating up people in the West Bank.
How much do you think, even if it was 15,000, you said, like, even if with that,
No, I'm saying if it was 15,000, that's 1%, right?
Yeah.
About 1%.
Maybe a little, yeah.
And it's not, and with Islam, we know that it's less than 0.01%. So, I was being generous.
Why do we know that? What are you talking about?
Well, I mean, I can look up the statistic yourself, but it's slightly less than 1 million that we estimate that are radical Islamist.
Wait, where is that coming
from? Where?
Yeah, because even in America, Pew Research data showed that in America, which has the most moderate Muslims worldwide, 52% of them actually want to incorporate Sharia law into America, which I find Sharia law to be pretty violent. Not in all aspects, but in some aspects. And that's in America. That's not even the average Muslim. That's the most moderate Muslims. And so where are you getting a million?
Wait. So all I have to do is pull up statistics of like Jews wanting to increase. If you're looping that
Yes, if Jews want to incorporate violent
if they want to
measures,
spread the Levant, if I poll,
Bro,
Jews
there are
on
people in Texas and in
on spreading
Minnesota saying
movement.
that Islam's coming into every household in the
Yeah, but
West.
here's
What are
my
you
Right,
talking about? What
you're
Jews are
limiting
doing that?
the problem. The problem is
my permission.
argument. It fails for so many reasons, but
But
one of the main
your
ones is
argument just
you're
failed
focusing.
based on what you
Quiet. I'm
just said.
talking. Quiet. Is you're focusing on one specific part of the world and extrapolating that all over the world. There is Muslim violence all over the world. In Iran, for example, right now, Muslims are openly shooting Muslims in the streets who are protesting because they don't like 50% inflation and they don't like their currency being worthless. In Sudan, they're slaughtering Christians. In Congo, they're slaughtering Christians. In Europe, Christmas markets that had been open for centuries had to be closed because of threats of violence from Muslims. You're only talking about one specific area and extrapolating that. Only half the Jews in the world live in Israel.
World. Not talking about one specific part of the world. I'm talking about the entire world.
You said Judaism. What about the Jews that are, even if your argument had made any sense whatsoever, half the Jews in the world don't live in Israel.
It's about half, correct?
About half, right. So in Australia, when the Jews were peacefully singing and lighting Hanukkah candles, who shot them?
Wait, hold on. I was talking about a particular part of the world.
No, but you said Judaism. You didn't say Jews in the Levant.
Because half the religion lives there. Obviously, I'm going to reference this part of the world.
Let him finish. You were about to say something about the majority. What were you about to say?
Yeah, about half of Jews live in Israel.
Right, so you're saying they're violent when they become the majority in a specific area.
No, he was wondering why I was talking about a particular part of the world.
Even if you were right about that half of the Jews, then why aren't the other half of the Jews doing it?
It doesn't matter. You're talking about,
of course
it doesn't.
Of course
well, of course, because you said Judaism. You didn't say Israel.
Right, like if
you said the religion.
Right, if your argument, right, if your argument was that Islam was only violent in like Afghanistan, but the rest of the Muslims are outside of Afghanistan were not, then you can find it to be a territorial issue, not necessarily an Islamic one. So how do you know that the Israel issue, which it clearly is, but I'm going to ask the question anyways, how do you know it's not more of a territorial issue that is more breeded in violence, that is simply a response to the Islamic violence, but let's put that aside for a second. How do you know it's not more of a territorial issue more than it is a Judaism issue?
Was Israel created based on the premise of Zionism?
Which is not Judaism.
Wait, wait, hold on.
What is the definition of Zionism?
No. Zionism, political Zionism helped propel the creation of Israel, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about Judaism, right? Political Zionism is not Judaism. Zionism, in the sense of self-determination for the indigenous people in their indigenous homeland, sure, that is founded in, yeah, they are, but it doesn't matter, dude, stop. I'd love to have the argument with you, and I'll dog walk you in that as well, but like, can we just try to stick to a lane? Like, let's just try our best, okay?
You guys are the ones obfuscating.
Great, that's amazing. I'm the only one trying to stick us to a lane. So that being said, the idea of Zionism sure can be founded in the ideas of Judaism from the Babylonian exile, specifically, right? And that's when they became Jews, specifically. But political Zionism has something to do with it. You're moving the goalposts. You said, I quote, Judaism. Not 1948 Zionism. That's not what you said. You said Judaism.
What's your definition of Zionism?
Jewish people's right to self-determination in their ancestral indigenous homeland.
So it does have something to do with Judaism, correct?
What is it? Where Judaism has to do with God and commandments.
Jews is not. No, it doesn't have necessarily something to do with Judaism. Jews are an ethnic religion. It's as simple as that, right? If it had something to do with Judaism, then it would be a theological state, and they wouldn't allow people in unless they were maybe Orthodox or something. They don't do that. It has to do with the ethnicity. But again, you're doing this in a way to not. Judaism is not an ethnicity. Do you think Judaism is an ethnicity?
Well, when you put the ism part
no, you kept interrupting me, and now I'm going to dog walk you. Do you think Judaism is an ethnicity?
Ism implies a system.
Do you think Judaism is an ethnicity?
No.
Okay, great. So why did you feel the need to interrupt me when you're literally wrong?
I never said I was wrong. What are you talking about?
You are. I said an ethnicity, and then you cut me off to say, yeah, Judaism. So I asked you, do you think Judaism is an ethnicity? And you said no. So therefore, you must have been wrong. Or you cut me off at the wrong time, and it just made it seem like you were cutting me off because I said ethnicity.
Great. It doesn't matter whether it's an ethnicity or religion. We can argue. It is a fair argument that Zionism, the definition, is a belief or right for Jews to return to their homeland, correct?
So what? Zionists, there's a lot of Zionists that didn't even want to create the state of Israel. Zionism has nothing to do with the Palestinians at all. Yes, there are right-wing Zionists who may want to say, as far as genocide, all of them. There are right-wing Zionists who say, kick them all out. There's left-wing Zionists. There's even people who are Zionists who say we should give up the state but still live in the land, and everything in between. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to apply it to violence. Zionism has nothing to do with that. What you're really trying to do is not answer my original point, which I'm increasingly forgetting what I was asking because you keep interrupting me to get out of answering questions. And it's like very frustrating.
Okay. All right. It's the opposite. We established there's far more radical Jews.
Just shut the fuck up for a second. Like I'm really trying to remember what I was asking you that you never answered, and I cannot remember. Jesus fucking Christ, dude. This is like when people lose a base, they like just try to like fucking filibuster and shit.
It's called obfuscation, and that's what
hold on. Before you guys continue, Nick, I'll be right back. Okay? Maybe maybe not, because something just came up. I'm really sorry.
That's okay. Thank you.
I'm still failing to see the connection between Judaism and violence. I have my Torah right here. Could you tell me where it says to commit acts of violence against non-Jews? Because I can show you in the Quran where it says that.
You would agree that...
No, I wouldn't agree. Don't tell me I'll agree. I'm not agreeing with anything.
When I say you would agree, it's posing a question. I'm not telling... It's not a statement. You understand that?
No. But don't say anything about agreeing. Just make... I ask you a question, so you shouldn't be responding with a question.
Don't tell me how to phrase my questions.
Where in the Torah or in Jewish texts does it say to commit violence in the name of God against non-Jews? Just tell me where it says that.
Well, I mean, I guess I can interpret God's commands in the Old Testament to unalive certain populations in the name of flourishing the Jews.
At that moment in history, not into eternity.
Yeah, and could someone interpret that as...
No, they could not.
Not if they're doing literal interpretation.
Why could they not
interpret that?
Because it says specifically, wipe out these people, not wipe out all the people that come later.
Well,
yeah, are you saying could somebody twist the literal definition of words? Of course they could.
No.
Fundamentalist means literal interpretation, not twisting the words of, well, I think Amalek means father on TikTok. Yeah, I guess
I think Amalek means Palestinians.
Right. Sorry. If I see that as God's objective morality, would it be reasonable or possibly reasonable for me to be a radical person and extrapolate that to the future?
No.
Hold on. Anything is possible, but that doesn't make it right.
Correct. Radicals are not right. We don't.
No. But radicals in Islam are correct.
I feel like I'm educating kindergartners here.
No. But Islam, in Islam,
it doesn't matter because it wouldn't be reasonable. Have you read the Bible?
Wait, wouldn't you agree when we say radical?
Have you read Jesus, you really love not answering my question. Have you read the Bible?
Because you're obfuscating. It's an obfuscation.
You can't just say that as a way to get out of questions. I promise you it's related to what we're talking about. I'm not doing that. You're just trying to not answer the question. Okay,
yes,
so when you... Okay, great. So the answer is just no, okay? So when you say, can someone do that? If you took the time to read the Bible, you would understand why someone couldn't reasonably do that. Because that was your actual question. Could someone reasonably do that? Not just could someone literally do that. No, they couldn't reasonably do that. Whereas in the Quran, I'm assuming you also haven't read the Quran, you could reasonably do that because it literally says it.
Then why are only 0.01%? Then why are only 0.01% radical?
Again, that's based off of you're saying
their interpretation.
That. I have no idea where you're saying that.
Wait. Okay. Once again,
why are you saying 0.01?
It's really funny because you're saying reasonable interpretation when you would agree when we label someone as radical, they're probably unreasonable, correct?
I don't think they're radical for their religion. That's what you're not getting. For their religion, they're not radical. The fundamentalists followed the Prophet Muhammad significantly more than what you would call moderate Muslims. I'm saying they're radical based off of my interpretation, like me with Western ideology. Their ideology is radical to me, not to them. Do you not get the difference?
Totally. So
great.
If God in the Old Testament or the Torah commands the unaliving of, we'll just say ethnicities or population in the name of Jewish flourishment, why would it be unreasonable for me?
Well, it wasn't in the name of Jewish. It wasn't in the name of Jewish flourishment.
Abductively,
but it wasn't. It wasn't in the name of Jewish flourishment.
Can I finish and then you can?
No, but your premise is wrong.
You're asking a question.
Okay, it wasn't in the name of Jewish flourishment.
No, it wasn't.
Then what was it in the name of?
It was in the name of ridding the land of a people who were desecrating the land by being idol worshippers.
And who was supposed to be in the land after that?
Well, yeah, I mean,
Jewish people.
It didn't. It never said only Jews.
Jewish, you're saying
it never said only Jews were allowed to be in the land.
Right, Jews
never
did
said
go
that.
in, but it was never just only Jews. If it was for the name of Jewish perseverance or whatever you want to say, right? If it was for that, they would have said to rid everyone out of it, either by ethnic cleansing or genocide. Doesn't say that at all.
And not only that, if God, wait a second, if God or the Jews didn't want non-Jews in the land, why did we take thousands upon thousands of non-Jews with us out of Egypt through Sinai into the land?
Got it. Well,
I'm asking you, why did that? Why?
I never claimed God.
I'm asking you why.
Because God's morality.
I'm asking you a question.
Because I'm answering it. Because God's morality was never to wipe out everyone, like you just said. I agree with that.
So then your whole argument is moot, because the Torah specifically says to wipe out a specific group of people because of actions and immorality within their society and culture.
Correct. So is it
that was desecrating the land? That has nothing to do with modern times, and there's no way to interpret that.
Wait, so is it correct for a
no? The answer is no. It's not correct.
You're not engaging with this argument whatsoever.
Because it is a juvenile way to frame a question.
No, because you're just being.
Don't ask me if it's correct, or don't ask me if I agree. Just make your point.
A person who's reading the Torah sees that God commands wiping out a particular group of people so that Jews, not only Jews, can return and flourish in this homeland. Well, it's absolutely, from a radical perspective, reasonable to assume that they would do the same. They would take similar actions. That's
not reasonable at all, because if it was it's unreasonable.
Got it.
Because God was specific about this one group of people. He did not say,
was it just one group?
Keep doing it over and over and over again.
Right.
Was it just one group that he?
It was. But my question for you is, when you say it's radical, are you saying it's radical for Judaism?
It would be radical for any religion, in my opinion.
No, I understand, but I'm asking. Well, I guess the answer is yes. I don't know why you didn't just say yes. The answer is yes. It's radical for Judaism. Sure. If killing the unbelievers until they submit, and then if they submit and pay the jizya, then you can stop. Is that radical for Islam, or is that just normal?
Absolutely radical, for sure.
No, it's not. Not for Islam. I just quoted it.
Huh?
That's what it actually says.
But then why are 99.9% of Islamists not radical?
They're not.
Don't believe in that dogma.
That's not true.
What are you talking about, dude? After 9/11, they did a poll worldwide with all the Muslim countries. Okay, the lowest support for 9/11 was like 65%.
Mm-hmm.
Just because someone doesn't commit violence doesn't mean they're not sympathetic to or supportive of the violence.
Right. Yeah.
It's just obfuscation.
It's not obfuscation. It's an explanation.
Real quick, what do you think obfuscation means? What do you think that means?
To make an argument unclear.
Right. So how is him answering with statistics based off of what you say, right? Obfuscate means to muddy the waters, but nonetheless, how is him giving you statistics directly based? How is him giving you statistics that are literally based off of the argument that you made, right? Because you said 0. I don't know if you said 0.1 or 1, whatever.
Yeah.
0.1, yeah. So you said 0.01%. He responded with a poll that he read that gives percentages in the opposite of what you said. Damn near the opposite.
Absolutely not.
How is that trying to make the arguments unclear? Can you explain
that? Yes.
I feel like you just learned that word.
Yes, because I pointed out that we're only referencing people under this religion who have taken action.
No.
So if I told Jews.
Wrong. You
said
no.
I talked about settlers committing this violence.
No, you said Judaism.
About? Yes, Jewish settlers committing this violence.
No, not
taking
Jewish
action.
settlers. You said Judaism.
Correct.
Which is representatory of Judaism, correct?
Representatory?
Yes, representative of Judaism.
Representatory.
Great.
Anyways,
You got me.
I feel like you read some words and you're getting half of them
Representatory. Yeah,
I just had to define obfuscation.
Anyways, yeah, and you got that wrong, and you're using it incorrectly.
Wait. How did I get that wrong again, Nick?
Obfuscation.
How did I get that wrong?
What I'm asking you used it wrong, is what I'm saying. You used it incorrectly. Because he didn't make the argument unclear at all. He provided statistics. Let me ask you, what is your source at 0.01? The argument more clear. Right. He made it literally more clear by providing correct statistics. If anything, he made it more clear. Where are you getting 0.01%? Where is that coming from?
If we were talking,
where are you getting 0.01%?
I'm trying to explain why it was obfuscation. Then we can get to that.
Where are you getting 0.01%?
Can you let me finish this and then we can get to that?
Where are you getting 0.01%?
Bro, you can't just.
Okay, let's try this again. Where are you
just make claims like 99.9% of a group?
Great, that's the irony. But where are you getting 0.01%? Mister, you cannot just make claims. Where is that coming from?
I can go pull up a specific source if that works for you. Okay.
Ten Toes, what's on your mind?
What are the odds the source is the Qatari press office?
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
How are you, Hebrew?
Huh?
I said, hi, Hebrew. How are you? Inshallah, you're doing well. Hi, Nick.
I'm always doing well.
Alhamdulillah. That's a blessing, brother. That's a blessing. Alhamdulillah. Nick, how are you?
I owe it all to Allah. Everything I have.
I didn't think you were a Muslim, brother.
All because of Allah's beneficence and mercy.
Beneficence? What is beneficence? Oh, okay.
Beneficence.
Alhamdulillah. It's okay. Don't stutter today, Joe. We don't need you stuttering, brother. Did you find that source, brother?
Yeah, I'm coming back. Hold on.
Okay, beautiful.
You come back.
I'm pulling it up, but I just don't want to get kicked from the live.
Take your time. No rush, man.
No rush. We're all here for you, buddy.
Get your facts straight. Get your numbers straight so we can get some numbers across to our friend Hebrew here, the most intelligent man on the face of this earth.
I wouldn't go that far.
Okay, I'm okay. Look at you being humble. You're a humble dude. I didn't.
No, I'm definitely not humble, but I know that I'm not one of the smartest people in the world.
1 second, Ten Toes, are you Muslim? Are you pro-Islam? Are you anti-Islam? What are you up here for?
Your voice is like really. I can barely hear you, Nick. What are you asking?
So, your whole entire voice has changed.
What's wrong?
Yeah, I'm asking you, are you pro-Islam? Are you anti-Islam? What are you up here for?
My voice changed because of the accent, maybe. It's okay, bear with me, you know?
That's great. I'm just asking the question. Are you pro-Islam? Are you anti-Islam?
I hear you. Calm down, buddy. God, those Adderalls got you agitated.
Okay, I don't know. What the fuck is wrong with people today?
Okay, gotcha. A source.
Great, what is it?
So it's from fondapol.org, which is like a French fondapol.org. It's a French NGO. Yeah, it's a French governmental or NGO organization.
All right.
What's and so title? It's Islamic terrorist attacks from 1979 to 2024.
Oh, we know this one. This is the one that says 65,000 attacks.
Correct. Yeah, correct.
Well, actually, it's more than that. If you go back to 79, it's closer to 70 to 75,000, I believe.
So how does...
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Well, yeah, but what is that? That doesn't matter to me. I'm talking about radical Muslims.
Based on... Are you referencing now polls and not behavior?
Well, you're referencing a poll.
It's a combination.
How is that a poll?
It's a combination of the both.
Wait. How was I referencing a poll?
It's the actions supported. No. It's the actions of violent people, which is then supported by large segments of the population. Are you suggesting that the Nazis who were just goose stepping around Berlin but didn't actually participate in the Holocaust were any less Nazis?
Wait, but King, that just hurts your argument.
Not at all.
If I were to reference polls of Jewish people,
no. I asked you a specific question. I asked you a specific question.
Yes. Then if you want to do that, then let's do that. Okay, let's loop in those Nazis. So then now I can loop in the 85.
Okay, could you just do me a favor before you loop in anything else? Could you just answer my question?
Yeah, you
don't know what my question was, do you?
You go for it. Ask your question.
Okay. Were the Nazis who were goose stepping around Berlin but didn't participate in the camps or the Holocaust or fight in the army, were they any less radical?
If I say yes, that destroys your argument, so I'll say yes.
Okay, but they're not because they share the same ideology. It's the ideology that's the problem. The violence is a symptom.
Totally, I'm agreeing with you.
You should have said no, just FYI.
No. Oh, okay, sorry, I didn't. Yes, then no.
Maybe try.
Well, is it yes or is it no?
I think he's trying to say no.
I just assumed. Sorry, I wasn't listening.
Don't assume anything, dude.
Of course you weren't listening. That's the point.
Well, I knew what he was saying. He was just saying, are the people that didn't actually participate in the sea camps but supported them, are they still considered like radical in this situation?
And you said,
I'll say yes.
Well, yeah.
Yes, they are radical. So why doesn't that apply? Why doesn't that apply to Muslims who support terror but don't participate in it?
Because I'll tell you why. Because if I reference polls of the Jewish Americans that supported the acts in Gaza, that makes over 50%.
You're comparing a war between
that makes
two. So in your world,
let me finish.
No. I won't finish. I won't.
It's just insecurity. If you don't,
it's not insecurity. It's that you're rambling and you're going to go off the rails as you always do. So you're comparing a war. Because remember, this war started with 6,000 people from Gaza crashing over the border, raping people, mutilating people, setting people on fire. 3,000 of them, by the way, were civilians.
So now you can ramble.
Excuse me, I'm talking.
Oh, that's ironic. Okay, got it.
There's no irony there at all whatsoever. You know these words. You know these words. You must have a toilet paper word of the day, and then you use them. But you use them incorrectly. There was no irony whatsoever in what I was doing.
What's the definition of irony?
Anyways, continuing with what I was saying.
Got it.
To compare a war that was started by Gaza to what the Nazis were doing to the Jews, who did nothing wrong. The Jews did nothing other than being Jews.
Yes, they did.
They did. What did the Jews do to deserve to have 6 million people wiped out?
Dude, this is a facts, not feelings conversation.
What did the Jews do that required killing 6 million of them and putting them in camps?
Invaded a land and killed.
They invaded Germany? They invaded Germany?
No, they invaded the Middle East.
No, I'm talking about the Holocaust. You said they did something wrong.
No, you were just talking about the Jews. What? You're talking about the Jews in Israel.
I said to compare.
Oh, now you're
what happened in. No. The problem is you're not listening.
Okay. Because you interrupt me, dude. How should I respect me listening when you interrupt me?
I don't care if you respect me or not. It doesn't matter if you can hear what I'm saying. What I said was, you're comparing a war, morally speaking, that was started by the Gazans, many of them civilians. Many of them.
The war started. It wasn't so.
There was a war on October 6, 2022. There was a war.
No, war started in 19.
There was a war on October 6th. 2023?
Nope, started back in the 1900s.
So then it would have been a war on October 6, 2023 if it started all the way back then.
Correct.
So you're saying on October 6, 2023 there was an active war going on between Israel and Gaza?
Sure. Well, yeah. So it didn't start then.
All right.
It didn't start then.
Okay,
it did start then because there was no war.
Can I just jump in? You said the war started in 1900s. Can you be a little bit more specific?
When was the first tea attack on the Muslims in that region? Probably in the 1930s, right?
So
that's not the 19th century regard.
I didn't say the 19th century, buddy.
Great. You did.
So
no, I didn't. The 1900s.
You said 19th century.
So you're saying the 1930s is when the war started?
Whenever the first T attack was, I'll just use that as a little line in the
I don't know
sand.
what you're talking about, like the King David Hotel bombing. I mean, that was against the British, not the Arabs. And also, it wasn't really a terrorist attack, but sure.
Wait, what? Wasn't it like 1/5 of the people killed there were Muslims?
No, actually, I don't think it was 1/5. There's some
20.
Jews that died too, but regardless, it wasn't an attack on the Arabs. Just because Arabs happened to work for the British government and were in a government facility.
Why do you think they were attacking? Why do you think they were attacking the British?
Yeah, they clearly were attacking the British. In fact, they even
Why?
The British. I'll explain, but you have to let me finish. Anyways, they weren't attacking Arabs. They were attacking the British government. They literally called the British government and said, "We're going to attack this place. You should evacuate everyone." The British government, for the most part, actually kind of ignored that. I don't know. Maybe they didn't believe them. Doesn't really matter. And it was a government headquarters. It wasn't an actual
so why do you
hotel.
think? Right. So why do you think they were attacking the British?
Because the Irgun, who wasn't an official force of the Jewish defense people, this was actually a splinter cell, but whatever. They were attacking them because they saw the British as occupiers of their land, and so they were attacking the British because they saw them. Not saying I agree. I'm just literally. I don't know why you do this like fake laugh. Like it's very clearly a fake laugh just because I'm answering your question. You didn't ask if I agreed with it or not. You're asking me why they did it, and I answer, and you're like, like what?
No, because you
I don't
just
understand. I'm
like,
answering
you're
your
conceding
question.
to it, but you're conceding to it being a T attack, then, right?
No, What was my original statement when I brought up the King David Hotel?
That they attacked the British because they...
No. What was my original statement that was countering what you said? Was it that it didn't happen, or was that you were wrong to say they were attacking Arabs? Which one was it?
Well, again, 1/5 of the people that died there were Arabs.
That's actually not true. It wasn't 1/5, but again, that doesn't mean they were attacking Arabs.
It was 1/5. 20, right?
Does that mean they were targeting the Arabs?
Don't say I'm wrong.
Great. I'm going to try it again. Does that mean they were targeting the Arabs?
Yes, indirectly, yes.
What? Do you know what target means?
You can indirectly target something or directly target something.
No, people indirectly did die. They were not targeting them. In fact, they wanted everyone to leave.
Once again,
dude, you're being so disingenuous. They were targeting the British headquarters. They didn't even know. How do you know how many? They knew how many Arabs were in that building. You're saying they were targeting Arabs? They didn't even know the Arabs were in the building. They were targeting the British headquarters.
I got it. I totally understand what you're saying. It doesn't matter if they killed Arabs whatsoever. Remember,
it does to your original argument.
No, it doesn't, and I'll explain why. How they were indirectly targeting Arabs. The Jews, remember, just about 100,000 people were new to the British. Facilitated the invasion of the Jews. Correct?
I'm sorry. Say that again.
The British facilitated the invasion of Jewish people in this land. There was no Jews before 1900 here. It was about 1%.
Yes, there was. When was the first Aliyah?
It was about 1%, right? Before 1900.
I think it was 2%. Close to 2 or 3%. But that. Yeah, hold on. Wait a minute. First off, Stop for a second, because you said something wrong again. First, you said there was no Jews. Then you said that there was... Yeah, but the problem with your argument, since you love bringing it per capita, is that is on average with how many... Actually, that's 5 to 10 times the amount of how many Jews make up the percentage of the world, right? So they were overrepresented before the British were ever even... Wait, why did you say 1900? The British weren't even there officially until 1922.
I agreed, exactly.
Right, and so the British The British were the ones that actually limited immigration of Jews to the land through the White Papers.
Wait. Between 1922 and 1930 or 35, the rate of Jewish immigration there was exponentially higher than before, correct?
I would actually go past World War II if you want to look at exponential growth, but nonetheless, my point to you is
there was more after the British were there.
Well, yeah, that's because of
exponentially more.
But how can you invade a land when your people are...
Wait. He's moving so far away from the goalpost. There's 3 things I need to bring up that you said wrong. One, that has a lot to do with, yes, the Balfour Declaration, and them actually mustering up diplomatic supply, which actually created a fervor amongst the Jews around the world who were even anti-Zionist, but saw that it actually was coming true. So it naturally led to more people being like, hey, we should go there because what we thought wasn't possible is starting to look possible. It's not necessarily because of the British. The British were actually
against the will of the...
Stop.
Yeah.
The British were actually trying to limit it. The Jews actually going there. Third, you're talking about Jews going into land. Do you know when the first major Aliyah was?
Just
answer. Hold on. Just answer the question.
You just made a point that was incorrect.
Major aliyah.
It doesn't in 1850.
No, you're an idiot.
When was it?
1881. And third, the original argument that you have pulled away from, even if we wanted to say the 1930s is when the war started, can you explain to me the Hebron massacre of 1929 then? What was the reason for it?
Quickly, can I address the point you made about the British?
That was the original argument. We are so far away from the original. What was the reason for the Hebron? What was the reason for the Hebron pogrom?
You're lucky you're in control of this panel.
What is the reason? What was the reason for the Hebron and Sfat massacres in 1929 if it didn't start until the 1930s?
Probably to limit the Jewish invasion, to defend themselves.
What invasion? You said the war didn't start until the 1930s. Even if I wanted to say that's correct, whatever, then
we can just say 1922.
Oh, so you want to move the goalpost because
it doesn't matter.
Okay, fine.
It literally doesn't matter. You're obfuscating.
Okay, great. What was the purpose of the Irbid massacre in 1920 if you want to move the goalpost in 1922? What was the reason for that?
To defend the hundreds of thousands of Jews that were coming into their land.
I thought you said the hundreds of thousands of Jews wasn't until after the British. Huh.
It was. So that would be after 1922, correct?
The 1917 is not when I actually started bringing in Jews. The British didn't actually officially take over until 1921.
Oh, wait, the massacre was in 1917 is what you're saying?
That massacre was in 1920. There wasn't one in 1914. So if you want to move, because this is what you said. You said 1930s. Yeah. So I asked you about two major massacres in 1929. Yeah. I'm not even talking about small ones. These are major ones. Then you said, shut up. I know. Genius. Okay. Listen. Just listen. You're embarrassing yourself right now. Listen to the whole thing. You're correct. That is after 1922. So listen to everything. You originally said 1930s. So I gave you, and I just checked my math on this. I'm pretty sure 1929 is before 1930s. I could be wrong. So I gave you two major massacres in 1929. And then when you realized, fuck, I made a stupid argument, then you said, you know what? You're right, Nick. Let's just make it 1922. So I said, okay, fine. What was the reason for the Irbid massacres in 1920? And now you're saying, well, fuck. Let's go with 1917. By the way, I didn't even bring up the Arab riots of 1920. I didn't bring up the first Jaffa riots of 1921, which also massacred Jews. Then you said, fuck, I'm wrong. Let's bring up 1917 then, Nick. That's when it started. Okay, then what was the purpose of the massacres in 1914 and the expulsion of Jews that were old enough to bear arms by the Ottomans? So there was ethnic cleansing and massacres. So now that you've moved it from 1930s to 1922 to 1917, what is the reason for the 1914 one? Okay, go ahead.
Probably the tens of thousands of Jews that have already moved there. That Britain was able to
massacre people because, well, the British. I didn't know the British brought people in 1914. That's interesting, huh?
Was private land not? Again, why do you keep? Do you feel this insecure about this debate?
You just said the British in 1914. Please tell me what the British did in 1914.
Were there not hundreds of thousands of acres bought up by the British oligarchy?
For Jews?
Yes.
By 1914? I'd have to look. I doubt it. Why would they do that? They didn't. Okay, sure. Let's look into it.
The Rothschilds literally were, I think, the majority of that land purchasing was the Rothschilds.
If you just to make this quicker, can you pull up a source? I'll try to find it. Great.
Yeah, you're just obfuscating.
You're the one that brought the point up. You're saying that the Arabs attacked in 1914 because the British brought up, I think you said hundreds of thousands of acres. Is that what you said? Can you remind me? Did you say hundreds of thousands of acres?
Yeah, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, whatever the case may be.
Stop. Just stop right there. You're the one that brought up the point. You could be right. Let's look into it. Your argument, your new argument, because first you said this date and then you moved it back when you realized you're wrong and then you moved it back again. Now your new argument is that Arabs slaughtered and ethnically cleansed Jews. Stop. Arabs slaughtered Arabs slaughtered and ethnically cleansed, because I brought that up, Jews, and I said, why did they do that? And you said, because of the hundreds of thousands of acres the British had bought for Jews. So let's look into that. So real quick, stop. You're not going to change the subject.
My statement. That wasn't my statement.
I literally asked, why did they massacre and ethnically cleanse Jews? I literally asked, why did they massacre and ethnically cleanse Jews at that time? And you said, and I quote, probably because the British had bought hundreds of thousands of acres.
Because the tens of thousands of people that invaded the region, which was facilitated via the real estate purchase. Just to clarify. That's what I said, but again, you love to straw man and obfuscate.
Great.
That's like your biggest tactic.
You're saying that the Arabs, great. So you're saying that the Arabs slaughtered and ethnically cleansed Jews because the British bought hundreds of thousands of acres to bring in tens of thousands of Jews. That's your new argument, right? Correct. Great. Can you get me a source for that?
Not a new argument.
Great.
You were just
Can you get great? I just to make it quicker. Let's both look at the same time. It'll be probably quicker since you're already
sitting
read
in front of a.
Stop. You were able to pull up a source before. I will look up along with you. Let's look it up. And then if you're right about that, then I'm magically going to talk about a next year. I'm going to see when that started. And I promise you I'll be able to find a massacre before that. And I want to see what your new goalpost shift is. But let's look up this one first. It's going to be fun. It's already 1 a.m. I've already gone on longer than I normally do for you.
Dude, this like obfuscation
stop
and then being
changing the subject. Stop. You had no problem getting your sources before. Get this source. Stop. I know what you're doing. Don't do it. Go get it.
You have this debate on YouTube.
Stop. It's so interesting how you're trying so hard to not give the source of the argument you made.
Maybe at some point, Nick, you could ask him how one invades a land where their people are already living.
Oh, wow. It began in the 1850s. Oh, boy.
Hey, let's look into it.
The 1850s wasn't British.
No, he's talking about buying of land.
British private citizens. That's what I said initially, remember?
I thought you said the British oligarchy.
Exactly, which would be British private citizens, correct?
Right. So the British oligarchy was buying from the Ottomans?
Correct, yes. Starting in the 1845.
Where did they buy land?
I'll pull up a source.
Sure.
No. I never argued that they bought zero. I want to be able to see that they bought hundreds of thousands and they bought it specifically to bring Jews into the land that they bought. And if he's right about that, great. Then I'm going to then ask about 1847 massacre, 1890s massacres. I'd love to know about this stuff because he said 1850 now is what he said, right? 1847, there was an ethnic cleansing of Jews by the Ottomans. Was that also because British bought lands? My overall point of people aren't getting it is he keeps shifting the goalpost, right? It started in the 1930s. No, actually, it was 1922. Oh, shit. No, I meant 1917. No, actually, I meant this one. No, I meant 1850. That's the point I'm making. Okay, unless you're going to find all the way back to the 1517 pogroms, you're going to lose this debate.
Yeah, so all I was doing was establishing Jewish violence. You're the one that has been shifting the goalpost the entire time. I found a source, by the way.
You said, and I quote, that this is when the war had started, when you were arguing with Hebrew about a war versus whatever.
Again, I was just being hyperbolic in the sense that he said it's
hyperbolic. That's interesting.
You understand the point I was making was that it didn't start in 2023, correct?
This war did.
Yeah, no shit. Like, you're talking about the overall conflict? Yeah, no shit.
All I was trying to prove is it's been an overall... Yeah, correct.
No, you didn't prove anything because this war started on October 7th. There was no war on October 6th, 2023. There was no violence being committed cross-border. No invasion.
There was no violence being committed cross-border.
I would say there was
not on October 6th. Not on October 6th.
Like on October 6th or 5th, the
if I can just find evidence of that, then I prove you wrong.
Well, no, I mean I would say he's wrong to say literally also, none. The Arabs.
By the way, do you want to pull up my source now to prove you wrong?
You're saying the source says that they brought
about the land purchasing
of Jews?
About the land. Yes, that the 1845 purchase. When it started in 1845, it was specifically to facilitate Jewish settlement in the region.
So how many Jews did they bring into these specific lands?
From 1850 to 1900, I think it was a couple tens of thousands. Yeah, about 20,000, 30,000.
And you're saying that that's why they started slaughtering Jews and ethnically cleansing them?
I mean, what other reason would it be?
Well, I find it interesting that somehow is justified. I mean, according to you, of course, you believe it's justified to slaughter people because
No, hold on. I'm not objectively saying that just the slaughter of people is just. But again, we're referencing the 1900s/1800s. Secondly, I can still hold the argument that there have been unjust Arab or Islamic actions towards Jews in the region,
Right,
and still say
which
there was
one's first, right?
Hold on, let me finish. No, it doesn't matter. Hold on, it doesn't matter which one was first. All I'm saying is there was an obvious invasion.
Can you remind me?
Correct.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Listen to what he just said. He said it doesn't matter which one first. When I asked you when did the war start then, the original question I asked, you said, I don't know, when was the first terrorist attack that Jews did against Arabs? Now you're saying it doesn't matter which one's first. That's very interesting because you literally said when it was the Jews, it mattered which one was first. Now you're saying it doesn't matter. That was the whole reason I went down this chain with you, is because I thought you were saying it did matter. Now you're saying it doesn't matter.
No, I was just, the entire subversion of this conversation was due to the fact that I was trying to prove that the war didn't start in 2023. That's the entire crux.
First off, that war started in 2023, but nobody said that the conflict or violence started in 2023.
The same war. It's the same war for them.
This is actually, what are you talking about? You think conflict equals war?
No, all I'm saying is if you're labeling 2023 as a war, then objectively speaking, it started before then, because there were being
not the war.
No. If you're going to define that as a war,
did World War II start from the domino effect of World War I?
How are you defining? Well, how are you defining
World War II start from the domino effect of? Did World War II start from the domino effect of World War I?
Did
World War II start from the domino effect of? Did World War II start? Great.
We'll
Do you agree that they are separate wars?
Sure.
Great. Yeah. That's all we're saying here. That this war started in 2023. Just like how I would say World War II is not the same war as World War I. Same thing with just because this started in 2023, that doesn't mean that there was nothing before that.
Would you agree that World War I included different people or different stratus of society than World War II? Was it a different composite of people fighting?
Some nation-state borderlines that didn't exist after. So
it was mostly the same, other than Japan.
Was it different countries fighting against each other?
It was mostly the same.
Empires, like the Ottomans, for example, fell after World War I, so they weren't in World War II. So you're saying that wars are the same then, as long as they're the same enemies?
This is what I was trying to ask before you just interrupted me. What's your definition of war?
A conflict between either two nation states or groups within a nation state today.
So war is a conflict?
Yeah, that's why I said this specific
all wars are conflicts, not all conflicts are wars.
What are you laughing at? You're wrong. Not all conflicts are wars, but yes, all wars are Wait, are you saying wars aren't conflicts? What are you laughing for?
Based on your definition, though,
you literally chuckled and said, "Are you saying wars are conflicts?" Yeah. Are they not? What are you laughing for?
Again, because you said there was a difference.
I'll ask the question one more time. Are you not saying that wars are conflicts? What are you laughing for?
No, that's what your first claim was, but then you redefined how you define war. I never once said
war was not a conflict. Never once said that.
Okay, so let's just go based on your definition. War is a conflict.
We have to get... When did I say? You just said that was your argument to me. When was my argument that wars are not conflicts?
Fine. It doesn't matter. Your definition of war.
Let's try this one more time. When did I say that wars were not conflicts?
You didn't.
So why did you say I said that?
Never said you. Wait, hold on.
You literally just said that.
Hold on.
I said literally word for word just did that. I love this
obfuscation. So you said
another obfuscation.
Here's what you said. You said that
every time he's wrong, he uses that word. It's insane.
Yeah. Hold on. Or he says it doesn't really matter.
Right. I love this. You literally said it. I know that was your argument, Nick.
Quickly. You said that there's been an ongoing conflict, right, historically, but the war started in 2023. I asked you what your
this
war started in 2023. Correct.
And your definition of war was people in conflict, two sides in conflict, engaging with one another.
How many Barbary pirate wars were there?
Hold on.
That's not what he said. He didn't say, but that's not what he said.
He just realized he was wrong.
He didn't say that, though.
Wrong. How
Engage
many
with me,
Barbary
then.
pirates? How many Barbary pirate wars were there?
If you're not going to answer my questions but only ask me questions, that's a disingenuous debate. You didn't answer my question.
It's disingenuous because you said I said something I didn't say.
You didn't answer my question.
Okay, go ahead and repeat your question.
Can I answer your question?
Shush. Repeat your question, but do not say I said something I never said, because that's what you just did.
Again, your definition of, and this is a question, but I just want to make sure I'm correct. Your definition of war are two sides fighting with one another in conflict. Two sides in conflict fighting against one another. That's your definition of war.
Two. It's just different nation states or different groups within a nation or state. But it can be more than two.
So then how do you apply that logic and say that war started in 2023?
This war.
I didn't say the war. Definition? I said this war. Very easily. Perfect. So I do get to ask my question. I'll tell you how. How many barbaric... Great, stop. No, I don't. I answered your question.
What constitutes the beginning?
Stop, dude. I answered yours. Now answer mine. How many Barbary pirate wars were there?
But hold on, your premise is your syllogism is illogical.
I'll tell you why. You're asking me. I'll tell you why. You're asking me.
The false syllogism.
I will tell you why. Just let me finish. You're telling me that I'm wrong because I define. And by the way, I don't.
You just presented a false syllogism.
Stop interrupting me. Stop interrupting.
You won't engage.
So I am literally engaging with what you're saying. You act like I'm bringing up a different topic. But
I just said you presented a false.
You're interrupting me because you're losing. Stop interrupting me. You're telling me that I'm saying this because I define, and again, it's not me. This is just the definition of war, okay? War is defined as a state or armed conflict between different nation states or different groups within a nation or state. That's why I said it could be more than two technically. When you try to say two, I said you're wrong.
And that's been
what
ongoing.
Shut the fuck up for a second. So you're telling me because the actors are the same, therefore, I'm wrong to say this war started in 2023. So to debunk you, it's not a question. So to debunk you, I'm asking you a very simple question, and I know why you're avoiding it. How many Barbary pirate wars were there?
It's irrelevant. I'm not sure.
It's not irrelevant. There was two. Same exact actors, but there were still two separate wars. So back to what you're insinuating. You're telling me I'm wrong to say this war started in 2023 because the actors are the same. I'm telling you that's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard. Just because the actors that are fighting each other are the same actors that were fighting each other in other wars doesn't mean there wasn't one in 1967, 1982, 2001, 2014, 2021, 2023. Just because they're the same actors doesn't mean they're separate. They're not separate wars. Do you agree with that, or do you not agree with that?
Well, not necessarily based on your definition. And I can tell you why. Let me talk now. So based on your definition, you would agree there's been, well, I should first say, you agree there's been ongoing fighting since 1948, correct?
Not with Hamas, but you're saying just with the Arabs?
With the quote-unquote Palestinian population and the Israeli population.
I think that's ridiculous because my definition was different groups.
Has there, just answer my question, has there been ongoing...
Well, then you're wrong if you're not going to let me
There hasn't been ongoing conflict. There hasn't been ongoing conflict.
That's not but that wasn't my definition. That's the problem.
just asked you your question. I asked you a question.
Definition wasn't
Has there been ongoing conflict? Since 1948 at least.
Well, no, definitely more than that, but that wasn't my definition. My definition wasn't just stopped at ongoing conflict.
So yes or no? Just answer my question. Yes or no?
It's not my definition, so sure.
So there has been ongoing conflict at least since 1948.
Well, if we're going with just ongoing conflict, there's been ongoing conflict since... No, stop. If we're going with just ongoing conflict and you're cutting my definition in half, then no. It would be since 638 CE is what I would say. If we're just going with cutting my definition in half and saying ongoing conflict, then 638.
Okay, so then there's been a war based on your definition since 1638.
Okay, first off, I said 638. And no, I wouldn't say that because, once again, for the 10th time, that wasn't my definition. You cut it in half. And so, therefore, you are trying to force this. That was never my definition. I said if you cut my
Repeat your definition
in half,
for the audience.
then
Repeat
it was
your definition for the
638.
audience.
I said, or different groups. And so Hamas didn't even exist. I think you said 1930s and then 1922 and then you said 1917 and then you said 1850. Hamas didn't exist.
Isn't Hamas an elected body of the Palestinians?
Yes. So?
Okay.
It's still a different
you
group.
just agreed that there's...
Okay, fine.
What?
It's still a different
group?
Yes,
they're the representative of the Palestinian people, correct? In Gaza.
So you're saying you're going to backdate the conflict since before they existed, even though Hamas was the one
based on your definition. Based on your definition, buddy.
No, that's not based off of my definition. What are you talking about?
Oh my God. Repeat your definition for the audience, please.
Yes, a state of armed conflict between different nations or states or different groups within the nation or state.
Thank you.
That's stupid. You're wrong.
So there's been an ongoing war since 1948.
Let me ask you something. Is Israel at war with the Palestinian Authority?
Bro, I'm giving you a syllogism.
Great. Let me ask you something. Is Israel at war? Answer my question. Is Israel at war with the Palestinian Authority?
Sure. I mean, technically, sort of.
No,
yeah.
Definitely not. No, absolutely not. But they're an elected body of the Palestinians. That's why you're wrong.
Right, but there's multiple elected bodies, correct?
Right, that's why you're wrong and I'm right. I'm saying it's Hamas. You're saying, well, because they're an elected body of the Palestinians, therefore it's the Palestinians. Also, even if you went with Palestinians, then it still wouldn't go back to 638 because Palestinians didn't even exist. So that doesn't even make any sense.
Does a Palestinian Authority recognize Hamas as the elected leaders of Gaza?
Do they recognize them?
Correct.
Today, I'd have to look that up because I know after in the 2006,
historically speaking,
2007. Well, it doesn't matter historically speaking. We're talking about today.
No, we're talking temporally.
How is it temporally?
Obviously.
How is it temporally?
We're talking about